All right, guys, welcome to week 2 of November. I don't know if you're like me, but I'm like, how is it almost Thanksgiving? I'm really excited for tonight's call because I just get to ask the questions. But I just wanted to remind you guys really quickly and just show you the team calendar because I know just to remind you where it is pinned to the top of the hub, what's going on this week. So we have team call and obviously tomorrow's payday. But just thinking ahead to next week, we'll have the coach sneak peek call on Tuesday night. And there's going to be 9-week control freak training starting to come out from corporate, as well as the sample workout coming at the end of the month. So I just want to remind you of these dates. Remember to check the calendar, all that good stuff. I know personally for me, with all of the mentally challenging things we've been experiencing, highly recommend the I Am meditations on BOD. They are like so good and only 4 minutes. So that's just my little plug to do them. Any recognition anybody wants to share before we get started? You can unmute and
I
share.
got a quick one. I don't know. I don't see Jillian on, but she finished MBFA, and that's her third program that she's ever finished. She did Beachbody before joining our team and had never finished a program before. So super proud of her. Third program down. It's a huge accomplishment.
Awesome, Jillian. So cool. Apparently, Noelle, if you didn't hear her, she was on Dr. Oz and did a 21-day vegan challenge. So props to you, Noelle, because I could not do that. Anyone else? Recognition can be big or small. All right, cool. Well, before we end the call, remind us to talk about our accountability pod that we're going to be starting together, our message pod, okay? Don't let me forget. So stay till the end. But we promised you guys we're going to keep these like 30 minutes short and sweet because we want to respect your time. And I think that that's important for all of us. So tonight we have Jessica, Ashley, and Audrey speaking. Um, Jess, sorry, there's so many Jesses. Jess, you want to introduce a little bit about Ashley and then I'll share about the other two?
Yeah, so Ashley joined as a coach in May, but we've probably been talking on Instagram for maybe 10 months. I got to see her like go through her pregnancy, and we actually met through a wealth coach. So Instagram is so powerful. And Ashley was at that point going through like, I have no idea what I want to do. And we really just connected over trying to find your purpose and help other people through that. And it was months and months and months and free samples where she was like, I didn't want to try them, didn't try them, a lot of back and forth. And at one point she was like, let's do this. And she's been rocking it ever since. And I think what's so unique about her journey as a coach is that she started out with Beachbody and focusing on herself, one of the biggest vitals. And through that process, and she'll talk about it, I'm sure, has now found an additional like passion for herself that is her focus, and she's able to have Beachbody as the side option to continue to serve her clients. And it's just, I think it's really eye-opening from where we hear a lot of similar stories for coaches to see a different perspective of how to actually still be successful in this business where your passion really speaks such volumes for getting new customers. So that I'll have Ashley talk about it later, but I think we're going to do all intros first.
Yeah, I'll just intro my two glow girls. So Audrey, literally I commented on her Instagram and said her jacket was cute. And I think she like fell in love with me because I complimented her. True story. It was mutual, but she lives in Philly too. So we've become really close. We've done bachelorettes, virtual wedding for her this year. And it's just been great to have our team growing locally with her. She's also actually the first time she met me, she came to like a Shanti event in Richmond with me. Like she took the train to my house and then drove to Richmond from Philly for like 5 hours with our team. So you just never know how Beachbody can connect you in your life. And then Jess is like my great, I don't even know, great Great grand coach. She's deep in my downline, but we've gotten to know each other a lot, especially over this summer, um, because she switched teams to our team. So she's been doing Beachbody for a long time and really wanted that fostering of community and connection. And so I think for both of them, and they'll probably share more about this, they're really like in that comeback zone. And I think a lot of coaches don't talk about that enough. So I'm excited for them to kind of share, yes, they've hit big milestones with their business, but there's also ebbs and flows. And we need to know that that's normal and totally not weird. So I figure we'll go in alphabetical order and we'll start with Ashley and go around if that's cool with y'all. And then, of course, blow up the chat if you guys want to know more from them. This is totally an open forum for you guys to learn about each other and like what you want to know more about. So, Ashley, how did you get into coaching and what was your biggest concern before you started?
So I signed up purely as a discount coach. And like for the first month, I just watched as a discount coach. She added me to, Jess added me to all of the coaching groups. And I wanted to be a part of the business community more than just the fitness community. So that intrigued me because I did want to eventually open my own life coaching business. And so I thought, there's all these resources that all of these Beachbody coaches use that I have access to right now. So I dove into those resources. But yes, I've used those for Beachbody and it's been great, but I've also gotten to use what I've learned to my life coaching business now. And my biggest concern, I think, when starting was what's the catch, right? Because like without the products, you have a year access to this Netflix of program, especially during quarantine. Like it was the perfect thing for everybody to have at that point because gyms were closed. And even if they weren't, like I'm somebody who, if I were to go to a gym, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'll go to, oh, that looks nice. I'll do, I guess, 3 reps of, 3 sets of 15 at this level because it feels nice. Like I don't know what I'm doing and I wouldn't get results. Yes, I can research, but if I'm being honest, it's just not really my thing. So being able to follow along and do all of that, anyways, it's such a good price. It's kind of an obvious buy. Like again, what's the catch? And then I was introduced to Shakeology, and I thought, okay, oh, that's the catch. The Shakeology is the catch because that's where Beachbody makes their money. But say Shakeology, I decided to use it as a tool. Just like you have training wheels on your bike when you first started, it's an investment and you use that tool until you're able to ride your bike on your own. So Shakeology for me was a tool. Instead of looking at it as, okay, this is a catch, it's something that I can replace my candy and sweets with that's a healthier option. So again, it was like using it as a tool until I was able to balance on that bike and do for myself. And now I like crave Shakeology and I don't always need it, but I crave it. And so there's that part. So it's addicting. That's for sure.
Awesome. Audrey, how did you get into coaching and what was your biggest concern?
So hi everybody. Sorry, I'm have to be on my phone. My computer is just not working. So I got into coaching shortly after, less than a month after I signed up as a challenger. That's how Danielle approached me. The way she literally complimented me. We talked back and forth maybe once, and she invited me to do T20. I think I'm like, is that the right name? But that was definitely the program, Shaun T's 20-minute program. So I did it and I liked it and I was sharing it. And so she just said, hi, I think you would be a good coach. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I just like signed up. I was just like, again, like flattered when I looked at Danielle. She looked at somebody to me who was so positive and so healthy. And it was just, I didn't know anybody in my life like that. So I just felt like really, I guess, special that she said to me that she thought I would be good at that. And so I was like, okay, sounds great. I'll do it. And really no hesitations. I had no idea what coaching was. I was just flattered that someone like her thought I would be good at it. And I know I'm sounding like I'm really obsessed with Danielle. Maybe I am, I don't know. But my biggest concern, and it was the first thing I said to Danielle when we had our one-on-one, is I don't want to be that girl. I did not want to be the annoying girl on Instagram in an MLM, annoying everybody, cold DMing people from my high school. And that was the first thing, is I was like, I'll do this, but I won't be that girl. And Danielle said, good, you don't have to be that girl. So that was definitely my biggest concern, was being annoying and, you know, having a lot of people unfollow me and stuff like that was my biggest concern. Now it's funny because I couldn't care less. But at that point, that was definitely like the number one thing that was holding me back, was not like having people talk about me behind my back and make fun of me and stuff like that.
I just want to highlight what she said. Like, all it took, and this isn't to like pat myself on the back, it was just right time, right place. But like, all it took was somebody else believing in her that she could do what she's never done before. And I think that we often forget that. And I love that you said that, Audrey, because even with our challengers, it's like sometimes you look around this time of year and you're like, where is everybody? And it's like sometimes they just need that belief like breathed into them to know that they can do those hard things. So Jess, you're the last one on this question, but you'll be the first on the next so that you don't always get, I don't know what else to say. So how did you get started and what was your biggest concern with coaching?
So really my start with Beachbody and into coaching has been gradual. So I did Beachbody back like before BOD and with the DVDs and things like that. Fell off when I had my first son. And then after my first son, it was when 80 Day Obsession launched. I was like, okay, I needed a change. At the point I was almost about 200 pounds, whereas now, so I'm at like a 50 to 65 pound weight loss since then. So that was sort of my first, like, just bought me into Beachbody. And then I actually surprisingly, I spent about a year and a half with Beachbody all by myself. I didn't have, well, I mean, I guess I had a coach because you automatically get one, but I didn't have a team. I didn't have anything like that. I just kind of did it on my own. And then, I actually started following somebody that I knew from high school, and she just motivated me. She invited me like a few times, and I was that girl who she probably invited me like 5 times, and then I just never answered her. And then one day I was like, oh, so I was that girl that didn't answer and the no forever, and then magically came back. And that was actually my old coach. And so then I spent a year on another team. And then my friend, Jessica Rogowski, who's actually my coach within this team, her and I have been really close friends for years. And I was just kind of intrigued by some of the things that were going on with this team, the Zoom gym and things like that. And so I ended up making the shift to her. And when I did that, I also just decided to make the shift to coaching because I had actually been sharing my journey with Beachbody for well over a year on Instagram. And people would be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, Beachbody, go ahead and figure it out, you know? And so in hindsight, I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't get into it sooner because I definitely for free promoted like Beachbody and probably got people signed up on other teams or with other coaches because I was just kind of doing my own thing. And so when Jess and I talked about it, it just kind of, it was at that point, it made sense. Like I had committed to Beachbody myself. I had done Shakeology. I had done all of the things. I had seen success. I was already sharing my story. So it was kind of at that point, it's like, why not? Even as a start, like why not even as a discount coach? Why not even at least start with that? And then it was just kind of like, well, I'm already sharing. I've already kind of motivated people. Why not see where this could take me? And I think my concern probably matches what everybody's concern is, what Audrey already said. Like, I just didn't want to be that girl, that salesy girl on social media.
Love it. Never give up on those people that don't answer your 5 messages in a row, guys. You never know who they could be. Okay, so Jess, why are you still coaching right now and what's motivating you?
So this is actually a tricky one because, as you were saying, kind of like in a comeback stage right now, I was doing well, and then this school year hit, and it's just been hard to kind of relearn your profession after doing it for 9 years when I had to go virtual. In addition to that, I think this year has just rocked everybody's world in some way, shape, or form. And I've also, so my husband is law enforcement and military and has spent a lot of this year away from us. So this year has just been brutal. And I was actually at a point like not that long ago where I was like, okay, well, I haven't hit Success Club. I'm not really doing anything. Let's just quit. And the thing that kept me going is, for number one, I wouldn't ever cancel my coach membership because, like I said, the discounts, and actually as a veteran or as a military family, I don't have to pay the coaching fee. So it would literally be dumb to cancel my coach membership. But also, it's a very small team, but I do right now have a group of girls that depend on me. So I wasn't in a growing stage, but I do have a group that is signed up on me. I do have a group that looks forward to my weekly emails. I do have a group that I'm their first person that they're reaching out to when they have a question about the containers or they have a question about a new program. And so for that, for a little bit, like I was kind of like, all right, I was at a standstill, like I wasn't growing, but that motivated me to not pull that. Like, for one, I was like, oh, I'm just done with this. But that, now that I have those people that they depend on me and they motivate me and I wouldn't ever do that to them, that's what's kept me going.
Oh, I love that so much because I couldn't agree with that more. All right, I'm not going to speak that much. Audrey, you're up next. Why are you so coaching?
What Jess said. No, I'll try to not just like reword what Jess said, but yeah, also I would never stop having my coach discount because I use the products too much. And at this point, even if I don't do anything, I still get a residual income just because I've built a small team, and it's very small, but it's enough that I consistently every week, even if it's just $30, to me, I would never cancel something that just kind of like gives me that. But that's like the very superficial reason why I would still do it. So it's like, I'm never going to cancel my account. And there's like a benefit when I just sit there, but it is exactly what Jess said. It's having a team of my own now. And my team we're all kind of going through a lot right now. One of us just had a baby, and Genesis, who's on this call, I know is like me, very overwhelmed with work, as I am too. So even though we are in a little bit of where we're not like pushing for any rank advancements or anything right now, I would never leave them. Like I would just never do that. And so I keep showing up for them. And then when we get to a season in our life where we want to push again, I know that we'll still have that community and we'll do it together. And that's something that like, I think it's what makes our team good is we are just honest about what our goals are. And if somebody wants to be pushing for something, like when I was pushing for Diamond, everybody on the team had permission to hold me to that and to push me to that. But right now, when I'm not pushing towards anything, I don't feel any type of pressure or anything like that. And something that like we talk a lot about on my team is not feeling guilt over the business, because a lot of times if you aren't doing as much as you could be or whatever, feelings of guilt arise, and that's just like a nasty feeling that I don't think belongs in this business. And so I also view my role as the leader of our team is to keep those expectations in line, and also any negative feelings around coaching under control, and just kind of say like, we're here. And it's just like, that's the beautiful thing about coaching is you don't always need to be pushing for huge amounts of money or huge ranks. You could just be like, I want to be available if somebody wants to start their own journey. And that's kind of where I am at too now, where I would never stop coaching, because even just last week, I got an email from somebody who, without even talking to me, signed up for Beachbody randomly during quarantine, knows that I'm a coach. Again, no conversation switched for me to be her coach because she watches me and she sees that we have a team, and she probably signed up and realized that that part was missing. And so because I've been doing this consistently for almost 2 years now, it's like residual that people will just be coming to me or looking at me as the coach. So I would never want to have to message that girl and be like, oh, I don't do that anymore. I might not be pushing right now as hard as I have in the past, but I'm still totally available to help somebody. And bottom line, to me, there's nothing more rewarding than helping somebody start that health journey, helping somebody beat their excuses, regain control of their health, and get excited about taking care of themselves. So even if it's, whatever, it's just, to me, that's so like meaningful. I would never walk away, even though I can't lie that sometimes I do end up feeling like defeated that I'm not further along, or when I miss Success Club, like it never doesn't hurt. But to me, those things aren't what motivate me anymore. It's just more being like that person that people know that they can turn to if they're looking for a solution to regaining control of their health.
Yeah, and one thing Audrey didn't touch on that we talk about behind the scenes a lot is like her job has changed so much from the personal development work that she's done as a coach. And I think a lot of us are probably high achievers, right? Like we have really great jobs or things that we're really passionate about. And that's why we wanted to start this call, like these team calls this way, because I think that's it's something you can't touch, right? But I think we can all agree, even if you've just been a coach for a month and you've been reading a book every day, that's in some way made you a better mom, or made you a better spouse, or made you a better teacher, or whatever your profession is. I mean, I literally walked into a therapist's office this year and she said, you read often, don't you? Or you work on yourself often, don't you? Without like talking to me for more than 20 minutes. So anyways, I just wanted to pop that in on Audrey's account because I know that she said that many, many times. All right, Ashley, why are you still coaching and what motivates you?
So 3 main reasons why I'm still coaching, and that's the business resources, accountability, and the community. So I've already mentioned that I had wanted to start a life coaching business, and I've been kind of using what I learned being a Beachbody coach and transferring that. So that's invaluable. But also the accountability. Like I feel like, especially when it comes to fitness and working out, like it's not my thing. Like I did dance and gymnastics when I was young, but like I've never gone in and wanted to do it for being healthier, if that makes sense. So the accountability for myself, like it keeps me going, even whenever there's weeks that I fall off the wagon and I don't work out or I don't eat as great as I feel like I should have. I see the chat still. I still attend the calls, and it helps me get back on the wagon, to where if I didn't have this community, I probably would fall off and never get back on. So community and accountability, and not to mention the lifelong friendships that I've already made through this community. I mean, one, quarantine has been lonely, but I also just had my first baby. He's 9 months old, and I started this a couple months after he was born. And so motherhood alone was lonely. And like I just was looking for that sisterhood, was looking for that girl gang, and I just so happened to stumble upon one that like I actually vibed with, as they say. And it's been, I mean, it's just overall made my life a little bit better, and so I'm not going to give that up. That's all there is to it.
Love that, girl. All right, Audrey, I'll give you the first one, or the next one first. How has coaching changed or impacted your life? And I want you to talk about your honeymoon too at some point.
Yeah, so that'll be the first thing that I'll say. So the first thing was that I got married in March, and one of the first things when I started coaching in January of last year, and then I saw Danielle go on Success Club trip, and I was like, how do I do that? And she's like, well, at that point I was like gearing up towards Success Starters. I was getting like a shit ton of points, a lot of points, and points, which again is not the point, but at that time I was like all I was obsessed with. So I pushed, like I was like, I'm going to earn that honeymoon. We're going to go on a free honeymoon because my husband and I paid for our wedding ourselves. And so I literally picked our wedding date so that we would get married and then leave like a couple days later to go to Punta Cana. So I planned my wedding around it, just like blind faith. I had no idea how I qualified, and Danielle was just like, just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. And then I did qualify, and obviously it ended up being canceled. But like, to me, that was like the first time that I was like, wow, like, you know, sorry, I have this fan blowing on me. I'm like shaking. I'm probably a little nervous too. So that was the first obvious huge impact of getting a free honeymoon when we were broke, paying for a wedding. We both work in public interest, and an extra $4,000 on top of a wedding was like, we couldn't even think about it. So unfortunately, that didn't work out, but it was still a big thing. And then the other reason that coaching impacts and has changed my life is what Danielle alluded to before. When I started coaching, I was working in a law firm that didn't value me. It was really hard, long work, and I felt really unappreciated. And I felt like if I keep going at this pace, I'm going to have a heart attack by the time I'm 40. I was so burnt out, and coaching just kind of gave me the confidence to, probably about 6 months into coaching, to apply to switch firms and go for a more prestigious job, which I never would have had the confidence to do that. I started to believe in a plan for my life and a journey for my life. And I didn't really understand why, you know, God or whatever you believe in, higher power, wanted me to make that shift. But I started to just be more in tune with that level, and I made the shift. And now that I'm in this new firm, it was a struggle at first to adjust, but at some point about, gosh, when was it? Earlier this year, I was up for a promotion, and I got the interview for the promotion. And it was in my interview, the things that they were asking me about, you know, just the questions that came up, my responses were so good because of Beachbody, because they talked to me about like planning out and like setting goals. And I had, you know, we had just gone through, this was again early in the year, so we had just gone through like vision planning for the year and stuff like that. So to be able to talk about stuff like that was so impressive to the people who interviewed me, because I'm super laid back. I'm not like an uptight lawyer. And I think a lot of times people just will view me as like, you know, fun and maybe a little ditzy, but not take me seriously. But when you hear me talk about my personal and professional development, it's like, whoa. And so that's why I got the job. And then since I was promoted, and now I continue to get promoted. And it's not because I'm some amazing lawyer. It's because of the work that I do for personal and professional development only through Beachbody. And I take everything that I learn, and of course I apply it to being a coach, but I take it beyond that and I apply it to every other area where I'm a leader. And it's just helped me grow and advance. And now I'm in a job where I'm so respected, and my opinion is so valued, which I never had before. And that's all through personal growth. 100%. I never had any type of personal development routine before Beachbody. I didn't know what it was. I still remember the first time I was reading You Are a Badass, and I was sitting in court, and it was like, you know, a bright yellow book. And the judge is like, what is that? And I'm like, it's my self-help book. Like, I was just like, I didn't even know what to say, but I was like, this is what, and everyone was like, oh, cool. But to me, it's just like invaluable. And now I can teach those things to other people. I apply it professionally, and just continue to blow people's minds with that type of introspection, because most people do not have that. Most people fly by the seat of their pants. They don't have a plan. And if they do have a plan, it's more like a dream that they don't know what action steps are and stuff like that. And that's stuff that I learned here, only here. So that's the biggest impact that it's had on my life, obviously developing personally, but I can't ignore how much it's helped my career. Like tenfold, has just propelled me to a place I never thought I would be so young.
Man, mic drop. Introspection. I haven't heard that word in a while. I love it. All right, Jess, how has coaching change impacted your life?
Well, that's a tough one to follow. So I would mostly say, though, I mean, in my job, you don't get promotions and things like that. I'm a teacher, but I would say that it has positively impacted me just from the personal growth aspect, has just impacted all parts of my life. So actually, before I started coaching, I never once listened to a single podcast ever. I've never been a person that listens to podcasts. I definitely didn't read any professional development books or anything like that. And so just even that little snippet has really just changed me. Like I said, like a personal growth, but it's also just kept me at like a consistent positive mindset. So I do struggle a lot with a positive mindset. I do have an anxiety disorder and depression. And obviously, I think even if you don't have that before this year, you probably have experienced it in some way, shape, or form in this year. And so I think coaching was definitely just that thing that I needed this year to just keep me going. It kept me going to be consistent as a coach, to show up every morning, to get my workout in, to show up and post, to talk with my challengers. But it also just made me like keep pushing to be consistent, just in general, and to keep showing up every day. Even just like a week or a little bit over a week ago, when my husband was just called away suddenly to Philadelphia for everything. And that just wasn't part of the plans. And I was again annoyed that it happened again. And then there was also, I had some family things going on, tensions with, I think we were all feeling it, election, things like that. There was just so much. And I remember I woke up one day. So one thing for anybody, I know nobody on here really follows me that much, but I do like a glow juice dance party every morning on my Instagram. I did it one day. I was like, oh, let's get hyped up and ready to go. And then suddenly everybody started to, like, not everybody, but I started to get a lot more followers. So I was like, oh, well, I'll keep doing this. And I do remember though, I woke up and I was like, I'm angry. I'm angry at 2020. I'm angry at the election. I'm angry that my husband's gone. I'm angry at this. I'm angry at that. And I'm not doing a dance because I'm pissed off today. But then I was like, all right, I probably should do it, because I always go back to like consistency. And I remember posting, I was like, this wasn't really what I wanted to do today, but that's exactly why I decided to do it. And like I said, I was sitting there and I was like, I'm not going to do it, and nobody's going to care anyway. And it was that day though that I did do that. Somebody actually commented and they were like, oh my God, I think I did a throwback song that day. So like I'll dance from anything to Twist and Shout to, I did Bop from Handsome today. So like I'll do anything. And I remember that day somebody was like, oh my God, I just needed to see that like upbeat personality today. Thank you. And so like just a small little thing, but it just shows how like on that day I was in that like negative space and that spiraling mindset, and coaching just kind of like pulled me back from that and pushed me to be more consistent. And just even back to even with like my personal health and my personal fitness journey, it's just that thing that keeps me at a consistent place.
All right, Ashley, I'm going to move you to the next question so that we keep this ball rolling, because I know you guys have so much to share. Last question. What's one thing you would go back and tell yourself right as you were starting your biz?
Do your own research on the products, because someone's going to have questions and someone's going to come at you saying, do you even know what's in this? Like, I think it's important to know your stuff and to have your own opinions that are entirely your own. One, people will respect you and you will actually get more people wanting to sign up with you because you're real. So, I mean, just because I'm a huge advocate for Beachbody doesn't mean I am one for every single product on their line. And so pick your favorites. One thing that I know a lot of my girls love about me is that I try it first and then tell them about it instead of like, oh, try this, do this. So I won't suggest anything that I haven't tried. So I guess, yeah, do your own research and be yourself, even if it's not aligned with what Beachbody represents, because you are your own person. This is your own business and you need to make it your own. This is just, Beachbody is a tool that you're using for your business. So yes, I use it for my life coaching, but you should too, because each coach has something specific and special about them that people go to you for. And so I think it's important to even advertise that, like, this is what I have to offer from different coaches. If I'm not the person for you, then that's okay. But I hope you find your person, and whoever is my person, you know, come see me and they will come. Like, literally, this shit sells itself. You just have to show up, be yourself, and be open to questions. That's pretty much it.
I love that. I think we see that in workout programs too, where you like force yourself to do a program that you're not hype about. And it's just like, go launch a program that you love again. It's not a big deal. Like, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Okay, quickly, the two of you, because I do think this question is important and it's not devaluing Ashley whatsoever, because you're an awesome speaker. I'm just trying to speed it up. Audrey, what's one thing you would tell yourself when you started?
I'll be quick. I would tell myself to not copy anyone else, to be authentically my own brand. My story, the way that I approach Beachbody, the way I approach health and fitness is my own. I have my own struggles. I spend a lot of time looking at Danielle's posts or other coaches and just literally copying and pasting and maybe changing a couple words. And it did nothing for me. When I embraced who I was and my vibe and what my brand was, I created my own team. That's when everything changed for me. And so just don't be afraid of that. Like, the things that you struggle with and that you're going to talk about are uniquely you. And just because you look at another coach and they don't talk about those things and they might be like turned off by talking about those things, your audience is going to respond differently than their audience. So just do what you want to do. And like, that's it. You might look totally different from your coach, but that's fine. You don't need to be a cookie cutter. Like, that's not, it's not about duplicating your coach to find success. It's finding your own voice and your own brand.
Love it. Jess, bring it home.
I would tell myself to be more well-rounded from the start. And what I mean by that is sometimes I get like a singular focus on one part of the business that I start to kind of like forget the other things that I need to do. And so, for example, one thing that I am working on is building a connection. Up until this point, I've kept my circle small, like up until coaching, and there was a reason for that. And so now I'm kind of like stepping out of my comfort zone with that. But sometimes I'll get so locked into that I'm not paying attention to getting a post up, that I'm not paying attention to making sure that I'm doing something with my bod group. There's certain things that I'm always consistent about, like my workouts, and I check in weekly with an email to my challengers. But I was thinking about it today. I'm like, see, I'm getting so locked into getting all these connections, but I haven't posted in a week. So they might follow me and then there's nothing going on. So I would tell myself, like, instead of, sometimes I get so like, oh, I need to get this many, I need to get more people, I need to get more people, or I need to do this, I need to do this, when I just to be more well-rounded and like go back to the tracker and just be more well-rounded and make sure that instead of being like, oh yeah, well, I did all of this work over here, but I didn't do it over here, just make sure that I'm hitting all of the points consistently, because I feel like sometimes that was my downfall, was that I was pushing so far onto one realm that I was neglecting the other realms. So I would just say to be more well-rounded right from the start.
Yeah, one thing I'll share that Jess actually shared in our message pod today is like, we all probably make lists for work, right? Like a to-do list in some sense, where it's like so easy for us. Like, why do we not do that for our business? And so something I personally do, because I'm a squirrel brain, is I list out everything I need to do. And then I just pick 3 main things that move the needle forward that like are non-negotiable. I cannot go to sleep until these things are done. And that kind of helps me feel that like less guilt, like Audrey was saying, and more accomplishment, because I think it is so easy to get caught up in our busy lives. So does anybody have any questions for them? And then we'll end with sharing what we're doing with our message pod. This was awesome, guys. Don't be bashful. Or if there's something you loved and learned. I didn't read the chat. All right. since y'all are quiet. I know we went a little bit over time. So moving forward, number one, make sure your friends on the team know that these team calls are like this now, because I know we've heard from many of you that like y'all are really excited about this. Hopefully this was helpful, and we want to hear from more of you. Actually, next week, Danica and hopefully somebody else from her 9-week control freak test group is going to be on giving you guys like the insider detail. So I want more of our teams on these team calls. It's going to be baller. This program is going to be amazing launch for all of us. Only if we kind of do that brain work now to know exactly what's coming, when it's coming. Y'all know the prep work. We're moms and teachers and all that good stuff. So that's coming up next week. So we are going to make a new message pod with our teams together. We're looking at some options for maybe possibly moving to an app come like the winter time, because I know I personally don't love social media, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the idea is that we don't want this to just be a business, right? Like we want to have friendships here, and like for you guys to share when things are hard, or how can we help you, or what do you want more of, or not just like what did you do on Success Club Tracker. So I know for my team, we've kind of been missing a little bit of that, and hopefully we can bring our strengths to Jess's team as well. So I'll be putting a poll in my message pod. All you got to do is click yes so you can be added to the new one, because I don't want to move anybody that doesn't want to be there. Obviously, turn off the notifications if you don't want it, and check in when works for you. But I'm really excited what's going on here. It was great to hear from the three of you. I'm just so pumped to go into this new test group and do it together as a team of hardworking women, because you guys are awesome. Jess?
Oh, let me ask one thing. A side note for those of you who maybe have customers still interested in 30-day breakaway, I'll be posting in the hub tonight. I'm starting my test group on Monday. So the way my test groups work, I'm not going to pull them into a separate bot group. They can still check in whatever you as a coach are doing. But I do have a Facebook message pod just for test group members where we're bonding on a day-to-day basis of the struggles that come with doing a program. So just a heads up in case you have people interested in looking for support that's program specific. 30-day breakaway from me on Monday.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great way for us to like just brainstorm ideas and like get fresh perspective on things, because I know we all need that positive energy. So thank you to the three of you for being here. Thank you all of y'all for being here. I can't lose my y'all. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. Let's go change some lives. Okay, y'all. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.